Okay, so we wanted to do a reader weekend because I'm trying to not travel as much these days because there's a lot of demands writing 4 series at the same time. I also have a son still in high school. I want to be home where he is, although he wishes I was a little less devoted. But so we wanted to have the readers come to me, and also because the readers had expressed an interest in seeing Newport, which I write a lot about, as well as the real life Gansett Island, which is Block Island. And so we've been really lucky 2 years in a row that we were able to pull off the Block Island trip. And the readers got to see some of the places that inspired me to want to write the series. I love having my high school friend Pat Cottrell there to sing for us, because on Gansett Island in particular, everyone knows that live music plays a big part. Friday night, it's always, I have to kind of almost prepare myself to walk into that room, because I know that everyone's there for me, and it's still so surreal to have all these people coming from Kansas and California and Texas and Washington State and Ireland to see me. I just still, and even the people that come just from around the corner in Rhode Island and Massachusetts, it's still, all these years later, crazy to me that people are that interested in me and my books and meeting my family and wanting to see my hometown.
New York. I'm from upstate New York, Florida, New York, farm country.
I'm from Oswego, New York.
I'm from Dallas, Texas.
We live in Florida in the winter and Wakefield in the summer.
Wisconsin.
New Jersey.
St. Cloud, Florida.
We are from Wimberley, Texas.
Pembroke.
Me too.
No way! I'm from Bryanville though. Like that's like 2 blocks.
I lived in Hanson. My husband grew up in Bryanville.
We wanted to have a lobster bake because we wanted readers to see the seafood that we're really famous for in this part of the country. I also love the expression, when life gives you lemons. In New England, we squeeze them on a lobster. It seemed like everybody really enjoyed the lobster. It's really fun to be able to, bring that into the weekend and try to give them a taste of New England while they're here.
I just want to start by saying, last year we had some people who were afraid to talk to my mom. Let me tell you something, I do it every day, and it's really not that big of a deal. And I also wanted to say that, a lot of my friends think being the son of a romance author is pretty cool, but there's just a lot of expectations that I'm just never going to meet, and I always have to face that reality, so. Without any further ado, I'd like to introduce the most sophisticated person I know, my mother, Marie Forrest.
I want to thank everyone for being here. We have a very big crowd this year, as you can see. We doubled last year's attendance, so woohoo! I want you all to be the first to see the new cover of the next Gansett Island book, Love After Dark, Book 13.
The cake was amazing.
Oh my God.
We commissioned Pam's sister-in-law, Gail, to make a Gansett Island cake that was just among the most incredible things I've ever seen in my entire life. I was speechless. I really was. And so was everyone else. And then I felt so guilty cutting the cake. Like, how can we eat this cake? I felt guilty eating it, but I managed to get over that. And I had a piece of the cake, despite my diet. But walking in there, it just feels like meeting a bunch of new friends, because I know that we're gonna have a great time. And Friday night is always really, really fun. Lots of partying, dancing, drinking, celebrating the books and meeting new friends, and it's really, really fun. And the Tiki Bar party is definitely a highlight of the weekend. The trip to Block Island is definitely a highlight for the attendees, because we know that some people come just for that, because they really want to see Block Island so badly. And we did have one lady there, I think from Iowa, somebody told me that was only coming to the Saturday event. So we know that people are really looking forward to that, and our goal is definitely not to disappoint anyone.
We're going to Block Island.
So on Saturday, we were able to pull off the Block Island trip. Despite a little snafu on Friday, we received a phone call from the ferry company at 1 p.m. on Friday, letting us know that the high-speed ferry from Newport, which we were counting on, was not going to run on Saturday. So myself and Julie got on the phone and we were able to secure buses at the very last minute. But we managed to pull off the trip despite the fact that at the last minute we were thrown a lemon. So, got a full house up here, huh? Big time. Let's go to Gansett.
Right over here. Oh, I can see it. Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
We had a wonderful lunch at Ballard's, which is a institution in Block Island. It's one of my favorite places to go when I'm there, and I've been going there since I was a little kid with my parents. It's a really amazing place, and Steve Filippi and his group did a great lunch for us. Everybody was able to refuel before they hit the streets and took the bus tours and went out to find Mrs. Payne's Donuts and all the other things that we told them to look for on the island while they were there. So some of the spots on Block Island that inspired locations on Gansett Island include the National Hotel, which is the Beachcomber on Gansett, Payne's Dock, which is McCarthy's Gansett Island Marina, the Narragansett Inn, which is right up the hill from Payne's Dock, is the McCarthy's Gansett Island Inn. The Ore Bar actually exists on Block Island, so that's one of the few places that's actually real on both islands. The Salt Pond is also New Harbor in Block Island. It's North Harbor in Gansett, and then South Harbor is Old Harbor where the ferries come in. So the ferry landing is also the same in both real Block Island and Gansett Island. So other than that, not a lot of the places on Gansett are real places on Block Island. Some of them I've just made up. So on Sunday, we had our first ever Q&A and book signing. This is only our second Reader Weekend, and so last year after Reader Weekend, one of the comments that we received frequently was that readers wanted a chance to have a back and forth Q&A with me, where they could ask their questions about the various books. They could ask their questions about me, my life, writing, how I got into writing. I like that the book signing and the Q&A gave me a chance to really interact with the readers one-on-one, and in a room full of quote-unquote fans, anybody that asks a question, everyone's going to be interested in the answer, so that's kind of a good thing to know that you're taking questions that everyone's going to be interested in the answers for. And it gives me a chance to tell some of the stories behind the years and years and years when nobody wanted my books, and how a few local readers kept telling me not to give up, and because of them I didn't. It reminds me that, where it all began, and how the only ones that really wanted me were my readers, and I never forget that. So having the chance to interact with them one-on-one is really amazing. Is Marie Force my real name? Sadly, yes it is. Well, because I say that because, okay, so when I started writing under my real name, I was like, oh, well, my kids were really little, and, I didn't really think anything was going to come of it, and now I write under my real name, my husband's real name, my kid's real name, my in-laws' real name, and my first editor, I wanted to be Marie Sullivan Force, because I said I was Sullivan a lot longer than I was Force, and she's like, when you have a last name like Force, you do not water it down. So I always tell Dan that I married well in the name department,
With so many books coming out so soon, how do you keep those characters separated in your head without?
It's all, okay, the question is, with so many books coming so quickly, how do I keep the characters straight in my head? It's a big fat mess in there. And my most frequently asked question is that there going to be a fifth Treading Water book. I know you guys want one. I have to want it in order for me to write it, and I'm not quite there. So I'm hoping someday I will wake up and go, I need to write Maggie's story, and then it will happen. But I know you guys want it, I know, and I know that you would rather I write Maggie's story than go off and start a whole new series, I get that. But for me, the big thing is it has to be calling to me in order for me to spend months and months with these characters and deeply entrenched in the story and all of that, and it's not calling to me. But I am fully aware that you guys want Maggie's story, and I will do it for you sometime, I'm sure, but I'm just not sure when. So there's no timetable on that. So 4 series are about to put me into an assisted living facility, so I can't imagine what 5 is going to do. Thank you guys so much for the great questions, and I'm happy to sign any books you want me to sign. I just want to thank all the readers that came from so far away. In some cases, whether you came from around the corner or across the country or across the Atlantic Ocean, in the case of my friends from Ireland. I really appreciate the effort everyone made to come to Newport to be part of this amazing weekend, and I hope to see you all again next year.